Want to grow your Etsy Printables shop faster than 99% of other sellers? Use this 5-step cheat code that I'm going to dive into right now. So here we go. You're a printable seller. You sell PNGs, SVGs, all those things. This is the exact strategy that I've personally used and I've taught for years to really get a lot of growth a lot faster than most people. And before we get started, I'm going to dive into, of course, 2 truths. These are good reminders because if this was so easy, if this strategy was so easy, then why wouldn't everyone be able to do it? Well, this is usually the reason why. So number 1 is people severely underestimate the amount of work it will take to find success online. It takes a lot of work. People think for whatever reason that it's online, it's easier, it's not as much work. If you want to find success, you have to put in just as much work as you do at your full-time job, your part-time job, anything else to get what you get out of it, what you want to get out of it. And number 2 is consistency is what holds most shops back. Most people just aren't consistent because they don't understand the entrepreneurial journey. You're excited to get started, so you have a lot of motivation, and the journey is kind of like this. It goes ups and it goes down and then it goes back up because right here, you're super excited, you're super motivated to get started. And then you realize, wow, once you get started, this is going to be a lot tougher than you thought to get traction. So it becomes really, really hard to keep going and to kind of get over this hump. So you get frustrated. And then you start to feel like maybe you're going to quit the journey. You're become pessimistic, not as motivated, and you have to realize that you have to get through that pessimism, through that, through the lack of success and feeling like a failure to get back over that hump, to grow again, to get motivated again, because you have to be able to put in the work, when you're not as motivated, when things aren't going as well as you would hope. And most people go through that. You don't find success right away. So that's the reason why most shops just don't stick with it. The majority of shops fail within the first year, and I don't want that for you, which is why I'm doing this video. So here we go. Let's dive into this strategy. And this is step 1 of the strategy to follow. Let me move this guy and let's go. All right. So step 1 is the 80-20 rule and how to find your 20% really fast. So in selling, in doing most things, 80% of your effort is going to lead to 20% of the results. So that is the 80-20 rule. So you add a bunch of listings, probably only 20% of those will ultimately do well. But the goal is to find those 20% and multiply those 20% as fast as possible. And the easiest way to do that is through your target niche. And I know there's people out there that say just focus on trends, focus on fly-by-night trends, and you're going to find success that way. And you can find some success that way, but it's not sustainable. And it's going to get really, really stressful, really, really frustrating fast because you're going to be living by the seat of your pants and you're going to be going up and down constantly. If you want to build a real business, it shouldn't be trend-based. Of course, you can work in trends to your business, but your business should be centered around a particular audience, a particular niche that you are serving. And then that will also give you a beacon and it'll give you a path to follow. So you're not kind of, all over this kind of rocky road trying to figure it out. So a bad example of this is uploading random files, right? You see this a lot, especially with POD shops, print-on-demand shops, printable shops, because it's easier to produce stuff. I don't want to say easier, but you can produce stuff a little bit faster. You don't have to make it first. So if you upload random files like wall art, 1 sticker PNG, 1 budget tracker, maybe something serving moms, maybe something serving workouts, and it's all over the place, right? It's not going to serve a particular niche. A good example is to release something focused. Maybe if your niche is for teachers, maybe you do printable classroom posters, maybe you do SVGs for custom teacher t-shirts, maybe you do editable reward charts for students. So your niche, is serving teachers. So everything under that is going to be products serving that niche, products serving that target market. And the algorithm, this is important, and this is why most people miss this. is the algorithm now sees your shop as a go-to expert in that niche and shows your listings to the right audience. Whereas before, if you have something serving moms, maybe you have something serving pets, maybe you have something else, serving some, children, something like that. I mean, that's all over the place. So when there's a person kind of looking for a product, right, and you have your shop, which has, things that are all over the place, mom, kids, dogs, and then there's a shop over here that has, they have mom t-shirts, they have mom cups, they have mom mugs, they have mom bags, whatever the case may be. If this person's looking for mom stuff, the algorithm's going to show them this stuff first because they have a bunch of stuff related to that niche and not just kind of a one-off product, right? The algorithm wants to match the best buyer with the best shop, and the best shop is going to have a lot of products serving that particular niche, and the chances are that customer will find something that they like in the shop that has a lot of different things serving that niche. So that's why they're going to send the majority of traffic to a shop like that and not a shop that has kind of a bunch of random stuff. So that's step one. Step two, build a product line around that niche. So once you have your niche, you want to go ahead and build a product line. So up here, this is going to be your niche. And then you want to build out a product line or product lines serving that niche. So this is the other kind of part of this. So this is product line 2. People, even within your niche, if you have a bunch of random products, it's not going to help you as much as if you have product lines serving a particular subject matter or a particular style. So here's kind of what I'm talking about. So let's just say your niche is for bachelor party printables. You can create PNG files for t-shirt slogans. So that could be a product line. So maybe this here is your product line. This is t-shirt bride squad. This is drunken love. This is wife, mom, something to be a wife to be, or whatever the case may be. So it's all t-shirts with all different funny or cute slogans. So this is going to be your product line. Or maybe you do editable PDFs or Canva templates for something related to wife or bachelor party. Maybe this can be different invites or something like that. Or you can do printable signs for games or for party decor, or maybe matching SVGs for tote bags, cups, hats. But whatever you pick, do a product line based on that. Don't do one t-shirt slogan. Don't do one Canva template. Don't do one party game. Build out a product line so it serves that niche better, but also you're going to be able to use that information to your advantage in the next steps that I'm going to go over. You're going to see why this is really important to do it this way. But if you're doing it this way and you're releasing product lines, you're multiplying your keyword exposure and increasing your chances of making repeat sales, from one customer as well. But it's a lot about duplication, because when you do a listing, right, you have your pictures, which have alt text in them with keywords. You have your title, which has keywords. You have your description, which has a bunch of keywords. You have your tags, which have a bunch of keywords. So all of this information, the algorithm is kind of looking at and analyzing, right? And then it's trying to find an audience for that listing. So this is a decent amount of data, but this is only one data set. If you're doing a product line where you have all this information, you have 5 listings, 10 listings, 15 listings related to that niche, all that data is kind of being compiled together, and it's giving you more lines in the water. It's giving the algorithm more information to find you more customers. So that's why it's really important, just from a numbers game, just from a data standpoint. So step 3 is going to be, once you have your product line set up, once you have these product lines set up, you're going to look at your stats weekly and monthly and see, what is getting views, what is getting favorites, what's actually selling. So an example is maybe you do 12 SVG shirt designs for moms, and one saying, Boy Mom Life is getting 3 times the clicks. That's your winner. That's telling you a lot. So you don't want to ignore that. But this is how you're going to find winners a lot faster when you're doing it like this. So you do, again, 5, 10, 15, 20 designs related to moms, and this one is starting to get a lot more traffic, or this one's starting to get more sales. That's your winner. Which if you just did a one-off listing, one mom shirt, chances of that one listing being a winner is a lot slim. But not to mention, because you did a bunch of other ones, you're giving the algorithm a lot more data, so you're going to be able to find a winner a lot faster. Maybe that one shirt could have been a winner, but you just didn't have enough data with other listings for the algorithm to trust enough to send traffic to it. But when you're compiling this and you're doing product lines, this is why you can find your winners a lot faster. And that's really key. It's finding your winners and then basically using those breadcrumbs to your advantage. And this is how we're going to do that. Step 4 is we're going to create more winners based on what is actually working, right? So we found a listing that works. It's either gotten traffic or it's gotten sales, ideally sales, but you can still do this if your listing's starting to get traffic because you're probably getting close. So an example is if that Boy Mom Life SVG is taking off, right? We know that's a winner. Well, we want to do more of what is working. Follow those breadcrumbs. Don't do a different product line. Don't do a different niche. See if you can get some other SVG mom shirts to take off. So maybe we do girl mom. Maybe we do twin mom. Maybe we do tired mom life. So those are some new designs kind of based on what's working. But you could also use what is already sold. And Boy Mom Life, and you could do a same phrase but in different fonts, styles, formats, so you can kind of leverage it that way and try to get more bang for your buck that way. You could also test bundles, you could test matching clip art, you could test holiday versions. So there's a lot of things that you can do once you find that winner. Think dynamically about that. How can we leverage that? So many people don't. So many people will see, okay, this listing has sold, great, let's celebrate that, and then they'll move on and they'll do a completely new listing based on something else. You know what I mean? Where we don't often look at, or we're too close to our own shop, we don't look at it kind of that way, like, okay, this has done well, how can we leverage that to our advantage to basically get even more sales based on what's done well? And step 5 is to kind of take this even to the next level and leverage winners in different ways. So once you have listings that are winners, that have sold or that are getting a lot of traffic, that tells you, okay, let's try to figure out how we can continue to leverage this even more. So we could turn a popular SVG file into a printable wall art version, or we can convert a best-selling Canva template into a PowerPoint or Google Slides version. So we take that winning design and we do a different variation of it. We could offer color variations or full bundle or coordinating files. We could package our top 3 designs as a value bundle at a higher price point. So each of these becomes a new listing and keeps your shop active and growing. So we're taking what's working, we're changing the variations on it, we're tweaking the style a little bit, or we're doing more based on what's already working with that winning design. So again, thinking about it dynamically, how can we leverage what is already sold, what is already getting traffic, and do more of that, in different ways, so that we can, again, the goal here is to get to your 20% as fast as possible. And the other thing, kind of pro tip here, is you're going to have about 80% of your listings that just don't do well, right? They're not going to get a lot of, or really any sales, not a lot of traffic, but that doesn't mean that we want to delete them, right? As I've shown you up here, right, these listings may not be getting a ton of traffic, but they are helping you with this winning listing, right? They're helping you get those sales because all that data is helping the algorithm showcase your shop, helping the algorithm send you traffic, right? So we don't want to delete those. Now, sure, we can try to improve these 80% of listings over time. Eventually, we can delete some, but the worst thing that you could do is if you have some best sellers and then you delete the rest of your listings. That's going to hurt. Your traffic is going to dive bomb. Even your winning listings are going to suffer from that because you're taking a piece of the pie, right, that the algorithm is looking at, and you're basically getting rid of a bunch of it. And it's going to hurt your shop because you're getting rid of a bunch of data. So we have to keep that stuff there to help our shop grow and continue to help the algorithm showcase us and find us that traffic. So those are the 5 steps, and here's some keys to success that are going to help you with this process as well. So the first is make sure you try to post 2 to 5 new listings per week, right? This keeps the algorithm looking at your shop. It keeps giving it data. It keeps helping find traffic for you. It keeps your shop fresh. So this is the consistency that most people don't do that's going to hurt you. And it's becoming a lot easier the more that you put listings up. And if you start to find winners, then you're going to have a beacon. You're going to have something to follow. Again, this is why I tell you to hone in on a niche, so you have a path to follow, and you're not kind of sitting here twiddling your thumbs trying to think of what to list. The next thing is, do not post random files that confuse your audience or Etsy's algorithm, right? So if you do a product line, don't just go out of left field and post something random that's not within your niche. It's going to be really hard to get traffic, especially if everything else in your shop is focusing on that niche. That's going to be super random. I know sometimes it's hard to do. You see something that is sold a lot of times, you're like, oh, I can do a variation of that for myself. It's not going to work as well as you think as you think it is. And the thing is, even if you take a shop or take a listing, you change it a little bit, you post it up in your shop, do the exact same title, the exact same tags, that doesn't mean that listing is going to sell. And chances are it probably won't, because you don't have all the other variables in place. That other shop has all the other listings, all the other stuff that they've done, all the history. Your shop doesn't have that. So you can't just copy something, post it in your shop, and expect it to do well. It doesn't work like that. The other thing is, don't delete underperforming listings too early, right? So this is the 80% that I'm talking about. Let them up there. Continue to tweak them, try to get them to perform. But again, you're always going to have about 80% of your listings that don't do great. They may sell here and there, they may get traffic here and there, but they are helping your 20% of listings grow. And the more your shop grows, the more listings you add. And the more you follow this strategy, the bigger your 20% is going to be. The other thing is, do test, right? So continue to test listings, continue to test product lines, continue to test keywords, continue to do your keyword research. Right, that is, if you set it and forget it, that's where shops go to die. If you're continually active, putting up new listings, looking at underperforming listings, doing some testing with your titles, with your tags, finding new keywords, that is where shops will grow, right? And chances are you're not going to hit a home run the first time, your first couple of listings. You're going to have to continue to test, revamp, test again. It's an ongoing process. Again, if you're treating your shop like a real job, then you're going to see the rewards from it eventually. But it's usually delayed gratification, which is another pain point, and a lot of people don't like that. It takes time, right? You have to be patient, do a lot of work now for little reward, but the reward will come later if you're consistent. And the last thing is join the Etsy Games VIP program, right? This is a fantastic program. If you haven't seen this yet, you can join for free right now, and I can help you with all this stuff. So I help you with your SEO. I help you with product trends within your niche, new and upcoming trends, how to build product lines out. There's a bunch of courses in here showing you everything that I've done over the years to grow my shop, my best performing shop, to over 500,000 in Etsy sales. Lots of courses here that you can work at your own pace. A lot of them come with downloads, but there's a community. We do group coaching calls, live group coaching calls. You can pop in here and ask questions anytime. If you're struggling with something, this is a positive, motivational community of like-minded sellers, a very safe place, not like a spammy, weird Facebook group where you don't know who's in there, or someone's going to try to, get you to put your bank routing number or something weird like that, right? So you can join for free right now. After that, it's just $10 a month, a very minimal expense to invest in your business. Similar programs out there are literally thousands of dollars, and I don't want to be like that, because I know you're probably strapped. You're trying to grow your business, which is why you're here. So I want to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to do that with a very minimal investment, and the value that I provide in here is going to blow you away. I'm always trying to add new resources and give you amazing help and amazing coaching and amazing support. So try it out. There's a link below if you want to try that out. But hopefully those steps helped you out today with growing your niche, helping you with your printables business. Again, just remember, be consistent. And if you need help, jump over to the VIP program. I'll talk to you guys later. Have an amazing rest of your day.